Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Alyssa and I create budgeting content, but I also am a part-time reseller on places like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, ThredUp, Flip, and actually now Amazon. So I use that money to help sort of supplement my income, but I have yet to pay myself. So follow along on this journey, hit the subscribe button. Today we will be closing out the February 2022 budget by the Budget by Paycheck Workbook by the Budget Mom. I love this workbook. It has truly been a complete lifesaver. A link in the description box will be below if you want to order a similar workbook to this. I am sorry that this video is coming out so late into March. My life has been absolutely crazy, so I'm trying to get content created for you guys, but also I don't make money off of YouTube, so I'm trying to prioritize my full-time job that does, give me a average paycheck. So please forgive me, but I hope to have 2 videos up this week, hopefully Thursday and Friday, we'll see, and then a couple of videos up next week as well. So hit the subscribe button. Would love for you to follow on this journey. I'm also on a journey to paying off over $200,000 in student loan debt. You'll see how that is incorporated into this budget, but enough of me chit-chatting. Let's get into closing out February's budget. So I do a lot of this off camera because I would think it'd be boring for everybody to watch, but I use the highlighter method that Miko, the budget mom, uses, having a category and a color coordinating so I can easily add everything up into my budget categories here. As you can see, this is everything I spent in a month, and when I set up this week 3 and 4 budget, I mentioned I was going to put my Discover credit card separately, and I did, and I really liked it this way because it helped me really understand where this money was going. Oh, I forgot to add this when I recalculated. So I had some issues with the eating out piece over here. Something had happened at the restaurant, and for some reason it wasn't clearing my bank account, the tip that was left. And I actually think these numbers it was this flat stick. It's like a beer and pub local here in Seattle, and I absolutely love it. But if you don't close out your tab, I believe they leave themselves a 20% tip, which I am completely fine with. But I don't remember my one trip there being so high. I'm pretty sure my total was $7, so I don't know how they got up to 16. So I need to call them today, which is also why this video took so long, because I was waiting for that to clear my bank account. From now on, I'm just going to close out completely when I leave, because this is just too much of an annoyance to have to call and figure out where that extra money came from. But I added this back in. That's the other thing, is I want to have it checking Discover card, but as you can see, sometimes I just swipe my card too much, so I might just have 2 separate sort of areas where I keep track of these things. This is everything down here, and this is really what we're going to use to close out the budget. So let's go to, let's see here. Go back to my budget for the month. So let's talk about income here. So my income, I did receive $17.60 as my paycheck. I get paid every other week, specifically on the last day of the month and the 15th, unless it falls on a holiday and then it gets wacky. So I did receive my full paycheck. I had some money in my Venmo account, people had paid me back for things, so I just transferred that over. I should have put Venmo and Payback together. I also had my tax refund clear, so that was an extra $2,206. You'll see how I spent that in my budget. Really, I spent it what I should have spent it on in this budget when I had my bonus. So this was a really high income month, and you'll see that when we close it out. Yeah, that's not a usual thing that happens. I normally just get my $17.60 every 2 weeks, and that's what I have to budget with. So let's add up how much income I had. $17.60 plus $155 plus $2206 equals $41 121. Okay, so now we got to go back to the expense tracker and write all of this stuff in. So I'll let some music play while I do that. Okay, so I've got everything put in the actual, and there's actually some things that were higher. So Xfinity was $3 higher, my Hulu is $1 higher, which I didn't know they were raising the price, so that sucks, but let's add everything up and see how much our bill total was for weeks 3 and 4 for February. So 10 plus 64 plus 202 plus 13 plus 25 plus 89 plus 40. 443. It was higher because this went up $3 and this went up $1, which makes sense. So now we subtract it from the 4121, our total income, we get 3,678. So bring it down here. Now, this is where the variable expenses really come to life. And that's why I add everything up in the expense tracker here. So it's easy to put the information into this bucket here. So I'll add these numbers and we'll come back and talk about it. So I've added all of my variable expenses in here. I am cashless. I live in a big city and I just don't feel comfortable having all of this cash on me. So I was over in lots of categories. So let's talk about that a little bit. I was over in grocery, but I still did really good. You know, only spending $83 over the course of 2 weeks is really good. And I would love if that was every 2 weeks, but unfortunately, we used a lot of stuff in our freezer and our pantry because I spent $500 the first 2 weeks, so not great. Eating out was extra expensive. I have season tickets to the Seattle Sounders, and most likely a majority of this was from the previous game that we went to. So I'm going to work to get this down a little bit. I'm actually going to add it to the fun and entertainment category going forward, but I'm making that decision for March, so we'll talk about that in the setup, which should come out the day after this video. Gas and car, I was under significantly, which was great. I guess I only filled up once. Investments, pretty on par. Fun and entertainment. Because I got my tax refund, I had enough money to pay my friend for my ticket for the season ticket, so I just ended up Venmoing her for that. Holiday was a little bit more expensive. It was my sister's birthday, so I sent her some stuff off Amazon, and then also I had to pay for shipping to ship some stuff to her. So it was over by $1, so not bad. Miscellaneous is higher. I forget what I bought, but obviously it was miscellaneous stuff. Travel, so this was obviously a lot higher than I was expecting. I'm going to a work conference next week. You'll see that laid out in my Live Rich Planner Plan With Me video. That should come out Monday or Tuesday next week. But I'll get this paid back to me after the conference and I submit my expense report. But I still had to pay for it and it was on a credit card. So I just wanted to get it out of the way. Since I had the tax refund, I had the extra money so I didn't accrue interest. Pets was a little bit under, which was great. So let's add everything up and see how much my envelope or variable expenses totaled. So 2,245. 14. We'll probably just leave the 14 off because it'll make math just a lot easier at the end. Okay, so 2,245, and now let's subtract it for what was left over. 3678, 1,432. Let me double check these numbers. Okay, perfect. So we are all good to go on that. So now let's bring it back up to the top here. 1,432. When I do my sinking funds, I always put the actual in when I do it because I will forget, and sometimes I switch things around. So everything was good, but since I had my tax refund, I ended up taking out an extra $400 to go towards Christmas and for my MacBook, which I have yet to purchase, you guys. Hopefully it's coming soon. So this total is 556. So now I'll take 1432 minus 556 equals 876. Bring it down here. So I had nothing here, 876. I did transfer $700 towards my sort of sinking fund, you could say, for my student loans. Since student loans are not due right now, it's in like the pause mode, 0% interest. I haven't been paying them in hopes that they will eventually be canceled. However, I'm being realistic that they won't be canceled. So I've been saving to then make a mass payment to the principal once they do come back. So we'll put this to be 176. Oops, that was wrong. I was supposed to put 700. If you don't have these erasable pens, they're in my Amazon shop, so I highly recommend them. It makes life so much easier for these type of mistakes. And so left with 176. This is what should be left over, is $176. However, actual amount left over is, and we'll go over, is $267. So I'm supposed to have 176, but I only have 267. Or I actually have 267 left over. But if you remember from my last video of closing out weeks 1 and 2, somehow I was missing $97. I couldn't figure out where it went. Well, somehow it has popped back up into this budget. I have done the math so many times. I've gone through everything and I have no idea what's happening. So we're just gonna move on with our lives and just go with $267 is what I'm rolling over to the next month here, and really just go on our merry way. I am so confused. It's really perplexing, but time to move on. So that's closing out weeks 3 and 4. Now, for the rest of pretty much the workbook here, and we're gonna go through and fill it all out together in case you want to see kind of how my spending has changed, what my totals were for the month. So February monthly budget category breakdown. So I filled in most of this. What my total monthly inflow is. Like I said, this is extremely unusual for me. It's not that high. I just received a bonus the first paycheck of February. I've added up everything in terms of like my monthly budget. I'll calculate my monthly spend, the difference, and the total monthly inflow. So just for an example, so for grocery, we need to go back to our expense trackers. And this is why adding things up with the highlighter method is so helpful. So we're gonna go back to the first weeks here, grab the grocery number, which was 546.69 plus, keep my pen there, the grocery for this 2 weeks, so plus 83.62, 630.31. So total monthly spent 31. Do the difference, so minus 295. I just want to say negative 335 because I was over, and percent of total monthly inflow. So you're going to take the monthly spent divided by the monthly inflow. So 630.31 divided by, hopefully you can see this, divided by 15,278 times 100 for the percent. 4.1%, we'll say 4.1%. So now I'll go through and do all of these and we'll catch back up at the end and you can see all of the things play out. Okay, so I did the difference between the monthly spent and then I calculated the total monthly inflow. As you can see, and let me grab, this will be my red, this will be my green. So for grocery, obviously we were way over on budget. So highlight that as red. It is helpful to know of where I can reduce my money or spending for the next, month, week, etc. I was also over on eating out, which is a super bummer because thought I was doing really good in that category. Gas and car. Let's just do this. I don't have to hear the clicking sound. Gas and car, I only had to fill up once for some reason. Maybe I filled up late or so close to the next paycheck, so I didn't really have to fill up twice, which was great. Debt, I was under, but I did pay off all of my consumer debt, which is super exciting. Now all I have is my student loans. Investments, this is something I would like, honestly, to be over on if I'm over on anything, is investments as well as debt and savings, right? Like those are the good things to be over on. Savings, I was over. I will still highlight it red because, it's just not something I budgeted for. However, it is a good thing to be over on savings. Rent, I was pretty much on par, off by $8, so not too bad. Fun and entertainment, I was under budget, which was good. I think I was expecting some of my season tickets to be higher in terms of, what they were going to cost. So that's great. Holiday, I was also under budget on. Self-care, I was also under budget. I was going to buy myself some new, clothes, specifically, undergarments, but I never got around to it. So it is what it is. Miscellaneous was not as high as I was expecting. I forget why. Oh, because I was going to buy my MacBook, and I ended up not buying it. Insurance, I was pretty much spot on, off by $1, which was great. Travel, this entire travel fund here, oops, I didn't mean to do that, will be reimbursed to me. Except for maybe $200 because I am going on a personal trip in March. But yeah, that will all be reimbursed to me. So once I get that reimbursed, you'll see it come back onto my budget. And then pets, of course, was significantly over. I feel like we had just so many vet appointments this month. So that is everything for the monthly budget category breakdown. I hope this was helpful in seeing how I do it. In case you're just curious, this is more of a curiosity. Knowledge is power when it comes to really anything that you do. So knowing where your trouble spots are, groceries, eating out, travel, pets, it will help reduce some of that load. So let's continue going here. I know this is going to be a long video, but I appreciate all of you sticking with me here. So where did my money go? So monthly debt payoffs, you're going to take the total monthly inflow, which is this number right here, the total amount of debt I paid off this month. Let's go to debt, 1,880.20, which was 12.3%. Now I need to go back to my expense tracker to tell me how much I really paid off. So for the care credit, it was $18.13. And for the Discover, let's see if I can find it, the blue, $67.20. We'll just say 67. So percent of category 2 debt. So I'm gonna divide 67 by 1,880. 67 divided by 1880. We'll just keep it simple math here. 3.5%. If you times this, times by 100, 3.5, 6%. So then we do 1,813 divided by 1,880, which is a majority of this, 96.5%. So easy peasy, and you would do that for all of the debt that you paid off this month. And then for savings, so it's total monthly income, which is everything except the savings used. So that's why this is $1,000 left. So the total amount I put towards savings was $6,170.48. So that's pretty high, which is, hey, I'm not complaining by any means. That's really good for me to do that. Oh my gosh, I can't type and talk. 6170.48 divided by 14278. 43, oh my gosh, I put 43% of my income towards savings. That is so fantastic. Oh my gosh. I'm really happy with myself because I I thought I really overspent in so many categories, like significantly in grocery, of course, and travel, but to see that I put 43% towards debt, I put 12.3% towards debt, I meant to say savings over here, 43% towards savings, which is fantastic, and then 12% towards debt, this was all my consumer debt here, because I'm now going to be paying my Discover card pretty much once the item posts, and so I can calculate it into this over here. Just no more carrying consumer debt, just my student loan. So now I have to go back to my budgets, because I don't know how much I put towards what. My emergency fund, I do know I put $3,010. My student loan, I put $750 one month, or the first 2 weeks. I put $700 the next. So $750 plus $700, $1,450. And then challenges are the 52-week penny challenge, the 52-week challenge, and the 365 penny challenge. So let's add that up here. How much did I put? I put 95 plus 54. I think that's it for these ones. 95, 54. Okay, and then the next week, I put 91 plus 49 plus 16. So 305 towards challenges. And then hopefully the rest, it just adds up to what I put towards sinking funds. Let me double check it, because knowing me, I messed up somewhere. So 1343, check, plus 305, plus 3010, plus 1450. Okay, so I missed something somewhere. Okay, I'll do this and then I'll come back and tell you where I messed up. Okay, so I didn't realize I had put some extra savings down here towards my house. Eventually, we will get a house, just not in this market. And so that's where the 63 extra was coming from, which gives me 6,171. So it's just rounding errors here. So now let's take this divided by this number. This number divided by this number. So 305 divided by 6170 for, let's just say 5% for rounding purposes. We have 3010 divided by 6170. 49%, all right, so 50% went towards my emergency fund, which is now fully funded at $10,000. Someone had asked me, and I apologize for not responding to your comment, of if I have selected a high yield savings account yet. The answer is no, because the research I was doing initially, apparently I was reading it completely incorrect, and I thought the interest rate was way higher in what I would get back, and I thought it was too good to be true. But so now I have to go kind of restart my research. It's down to 2 options, and once I choose, maybe I'll do a whole video on how I do that. And then ideally I would like to turn some of these sinking funds into, or put it into that high yield savings account, because I don't really like having cash on hand. Okay, so divided by 6170, 22%, 1450, 6170, 24%. We'll just do that. 63 divided by 6170 times 100. Okay, yeah, 1%. So that is where all of my savings went that I saved this month. And the only thing left to do is kind of how things were different in February versus January. As you can see, I had an extra inflow of over $8,000 this month with my bonus and then my tax income, or my tax refund, or let's write plus tax refund. So for spend, I'll just do this, put it all in here. Actually, I don't really want to do this. This is just super tedious and not very relevant to you guys, because of my monthly inflow was significantly different. Like, this was my January income. This was the difference. So it was over double. It's not typical, and I just don't find this page is going to be super helpful just because of the wacky month. I'll do it off camera. We'll use it for the next month, but I think that's everything for this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I did not use my meal plan whatsoever. Yeah, it's just been a month, you guys. March is probably going to be even worse, so stick with me here. Tomorrow, setting up my monthly budget for March should be coming out. I'll hopefully film it later today so it can come out tomorrow, and this hopefully will come out today. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for following along on this journey, and if you have any comments, feedback, anything like that, please leave them in the description box below. It's super helpful. But enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.